Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and that's my Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. And I can't believe it's already been a full year and over 20,000 miles since I purchased this Toyota as my daily driver. And in that time, there have been a lot of interesting experiences, excessive depreciation, an accident, and a lot of other things that I can't wait to share with you guys. If you are someone in the market for a 5th gen Toyota RAV4, or if you just want to know how the hybrid powertrain holds up in general. So there's going to be a lot that we talk about, so we need to get right to it. And if you guys get anything out of this video, please consider liking it, comment your thoughts and opinions below, subscribe if you haven't already, and huge thanks to Lasfit, our channel sponsor, but more on them in just a few minutes. Let's dive right in. It has actually cost $9,000 to operate this Toyota RAV4 for the last year, which is kind of crazy, and a whole lot more than I expected. But let me break down the numbers for you guys. When I bought this a year ago, the window sticker was a little bit over $38,000, but I did get a really good deal by the dealership. So after my trade-in with my Outback Wilderness, and the few add-ons that basically every Toyota dealer tries to add on to their vehicles, this was a $38,000 vehicle. But right now, if I KBB it, trade-in value, which is probably what I'll do soon, is $32,000. Sure, private party is about $34,000, $35,000, but realistically, most of us with a vehicle this pricey, we're just going to trade it in. We're not going to wait for the right buyer because a lot of buyers in this economy just don't have that much money laying around. So $6,000 of depreciation, and then at about $83 a month for insurance is about an extra $1,000 a year. Our grand total is up to $7,000. And then I have a lifetime MPG of roughly 35 MPG. So this thing has spent about $1,900 in fuel because gas costs about $3.25 in my area. So over the last year, it has essentially cost $3,000 to run it and to insure it, and $6,000 of depreciation, which is a lot more than I was expecting for a one-year-old Toyota. Of course, the first year is going to have the most depreciation, but assuming most of those numbers stay the same, if I were to keep this for another year, probably about another $3,000 for gas and insurance, and I would speculate maybe it'll lose $2,000 to $3,000 more, so not nearly as much as the $6,000 initial drop. But still, this first year has been pretty pricey. So am I regretting getting the hybrid? Was the extra $3,000 of cost worth it? In my case, where I did have the choice between a hybrid and a non-hybrid with this 5th generation, I think it's absolutely worth it. The hybrid system is really fun to drive. Having a little bit more power and a lot more low-end torque that's immediate is really nice, especially when you're going up a hill, crossing a busy intersection, and you just want to feel safe and like you can move out of your own way. I think the hybrid is well worth it, especially for all the fun sounds that it makes, the spaceship noises. Additionally, it's an insanely bulletproof powertrain, but more on that in just a minute. I do think that the price premium is worth it, but not in the gas savings. Even if I got, 30 miles per gallon with a non-hybrid for this year instead of 35, I would really only be spending about $300 more for gasoline. So $3,000 for the hybrid system, saving about $300 a year with the current gas prices, means assuming there's no issues on either powertrain, it would take 10 years to break even. That's not even factoring in any other opportunity cost, if you were financing that and paying interest on it, anything like that, but it would take about 10 years to break even. But keep in mind, most of my driving is highway and interstate, and if you drive just purely around town, you are going to get a little bit better savings than what I would be getting in comparison to a non-hybrid. But real quick, let's thank our channel sponsor and talk about a good way that you can buy an affordable product, potentially saving money in the long run. The mats that I have on my Toyota RAV4 and our 25 Subaru Forester are the Lasfit. Compared to the factory mats, which we actually had to pay a couple $100 for in each vehicle, these are a far superior product. And to get the front mats, the second row mats, and the cargo mats, it only costs about $150 with my discount code of AA20. And I've done a couple videos showing the Lasfit mats and removing them on a Honda CR-V and our Subaru Forester. But check this out. Look at the sidewall protection. Look at the deep grooves. Look at all the coverage on the dead pedal and behind the brake and the gas pedal. There's really a lot of coverage, and the grooves are deep enough that if you spill a drink, your feet aren't going to be slipping and sliding around because the drink water is lower than your feet on the top of the grooves. So these are a phenomenal product. They're a lot better than any factory optional mats I have ever come across, and they're a whole lot cheaper than a lot of the other name brand competition. So check them out, Lasfit, discount code AA20 for 20% off. If you want some of the best floor mats in the business, and the mats that I actually use on our personal vehicles, there's a reason why I use them. There's a reason why I trust them. Lasfit Liners is the company to go with. Anyways, guys, Lasfit, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. And like I've said before in other update videos, this A25A hybrid engine with the electronic CVT is really the reason why I bought this vehicle. It is the #1 sold SUV, at least, right before I bought this, so that was encouraging for why I chose this model instead of the CX-50, which does have a lot of things that it offers that this vehicle absolutely does not. But the powertrain, the heart of the beast, is the same. Although this does not have very good insulation, you can see over the last year a lot of dust has entered the engine bay. It has had its 2 oil changes at the 10,000 mile intervals, which I do think Toyota probably has them spaced out to show a lower cost of ownership. Is that worth it in the long run? I don't know, but I do think that this is a very stout, very powerful engine for what it is, and extremely economical, and it's the main reason why I bought the RAV4 was for this powertrain. But despite that, it has had a few issues. Not the powertrain, but the model, the vehicle in general. I finally got my first rock chip a few weeks ago. I had that professionally fixed, so it has not spread yet, but also in the past, whenever I've used a Rain-X kit, those have also fixed them, and I've never had them spread in the past either. And then the back. I did get sideswiped. It was parked. I was at an event. I came out. I saw this huge white streak. Typical one. You can still see where there's actual damage. Most of the white I could easily just wipe off with some water on a rag, but it did get swiped. The person did not stop or leave a note, so that's too bad, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me. I don't really think too much of it, and because this silver metallic paint looks so good, clean or dirty, honestly, it doesn't take much dirt on the vehicle to not even notice that that is there. But these tires have also held up really well. These are the Yokohama Geolandar Geo15s. They are an all-terrain, snowflake mounted peak rated. I got them when the vehicle was a month old. They basically have 20,000 miles on them, just like the rest of the model, and they've held up really well. Not only do they do great in the winter, and this is not a sponsored ad, I also had these tires on my Outback Wilderness, which is why I bought them for this vehicle, but they do really good, and after 20,000 miles, they still have 8 to 9 30-seconds of tread, so I highly recommend if you do have a RAV4 Hybrid or you are considering the 2026, and you're only going to have an electric motor in the back that's about 54 horsepower. It's more of a slip and grip reactionary system, and it's not as dedicated as a torque vectoring smarter system like what you get on Mazda or Subaru. You might want to upgrade your tires because Toyota is known for having some of the cheapest OEM tires from the factory, but a set of decent tires aftermarket, sure, you might be paying $1,000 for them, but they're going to give you a lot more safety, a lot more confidence on the road. And speaking of confidence on the road, I love that this generation has physical HVAC controls. They're easy to use. Your muscle memory kicks right in for adjusting everything. Traction control you can turn off right there. It's not all controlled through a big useless touchscreen that's going to quickly go out of date. This thing is Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It connects to my phone really quickly. And there's not more tied up into the screen than the minimum of what needs to be. You still have a lot of physical buttons on the side, and honestly, you can basically avoid that screen altogether. So if in 15 years the powertrain is still operating just fine, but the tablet screen is out of date, you really don't have to worry about it on this generation of RAV4. The last gripe that I'll give you guys back here is again that the door panels do not open super large. I'm hoping the 2026 model of the RAV4 fixes that. But these doors really don't open that big compared to the Hondas, the Subarus, the Nissans, and the Hyundais. They just open so much bigger. Thankfully, these are cheaper materials, so they don't get damaged when you bang them up, getting car kennels, dog safety seats, all that stuff. I said that backwards. But when you get that stuff in here, at least the materials are going to hold up well. But they are cheap. A lot of the door panel materials and a lot of the plastics on this generation of RAV4 are kind of cheap. Some owners complain about cracking and creaking noises. And honestly, mine hasn't been too bad, but when you compare this to, say, like a CX-50 Premium Plus, like what I just did a review of, that is a much nicer interior, a much nicer vehicle, and it has more options for about the same price. So I do think Toyota could do a little bit better on the interior, but overall, it's very durable and it's going to age quite well. Ultimately, I am still happy with my choice in owning the Toyota RAV4. I think it's been a really good experience, and owning the best-selling SUV in the world is kind of interesting. A lot of you guys who follow my channel, you know I am fortunate enough to drive a lot of the competition to this, so I've driven a dozen competitors to the RAV4, and honestly, a lot of them have things that this vehicle doesn't. a lot of them have, what appears to be a better value, more comfortable seats, better all-wheel drive system, better visibility, wider opening doors, stuff like that. But also Toyota is the leader in hybrids. They make some of the best, and this vehicle, it's not just a tiny turbo 4-cylinder or a turbo 3-cylinder like some of the competition. This is still a very stout, very important powertrain, and one that I really have enjoyed. So I do think that this is absolutely worth it, and despite my issues with it, I care about reliability. I care about, having an overall safe vehicle, a top safety pick. I do a lot of driving highway and interstate, so I need a dependable vehicle because I don't want to be stranded on the side of the road. I don't want to have to worry about the vehicle breaking down or losing a transmission. And despite having a few issues with the interior, with the materials, with some of the cheapness to this vehicle, the powertrain is why I bought it and why I will probably buy the new one. I guess it just depends on when the new one comes out, because right now I think it would be really fun to test out the new generation and to see if Toyota has fixed any of my concerns with this platform while maintaining a very potent powertrain. But also I am getting a little bit interested in a manual Tacoma just like I've owned in the past. Or what about a performance car with all-wheel drive like a Golf R or something else? I am, slowly saving up for a performance car because it's been a while since I've owned my last one, the 23 Miata Club I had a while ago. But for now, the RAV4 has been a very good daily driver. It makes life simple. You really don't have to think about it too much when you're, going about your day, when you're planning your business. You just take the vehicle, you load it down. Because the materials are tough and durable, you can throw dirt back here, you can throw rocks and pavers, you can do whatever you need to have your own little compact crossover workhorse. And this Toyota has held up really well, and it has done a really good job, and I honestly really like it. Despite the issues I've mentioned, I think this is a very good vehicle. So comment below your thoughts, your opinions, but this is just my random one-year update. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Like the video if you got anything out of it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Huge thanks to Lasfit, our channel sponsor, and thank you guys so much for watching until the end. Until next time, see ya.